Let me run the intro one more time, people, because I've been here chatting for a good 5 minutes or so. On mute. Here we go. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well, and welcome back to the Premier League preview show, where we have returned from the international break off the back of a boring international break, let's be honest, with the friendlies. I say it was boring. I did enjoy a few of the games. I can't lie. It was that kind of relaxed feel. Checking out some new players for England, some top talent as well across Europe. Well, forget Europe, across the globe. We had Endrick scoring against England and Spain, Lamine Yamal's performance for Spain, and Kobbie Mainoo for England. And I'm sure he will be on the plane in the summer. But that's enough talking about England, speaking about England, because we have returned for the Premier League right into the business end. The Sky Sports here in the UK are headlining as the run-in, and we have got a cracking fixture. Manchester City taking on Arsenal at the Etihad. The away side are the league leaders going into this fixture, as they were, as we was the league leaders going into this fixture, I believe, this time last season too. But of course, we know what happened this time last season when Arsenal played Manchester City. And I hope that's not going to be a repeat, as you can see from the cap right here. If you are a long-time subscriber, you already know who I support. But we're not just here to talk about Manchester City versus Arsenal. We're also here to speak about Liverpool versus Brighton, Luton away at Tottenham, Brentford versus Manchester United, Aston Villa versus Wolves, and all the other fixtures in the Premier League this weekend. Guys, if you are watching afterwards, you might not realise that there is that I did have to cut out the start of this. And yeah, those of you who have been here from the start watching it live, you'll already know exactly what's happened. But yeah, I had a mare. I was on mute for a good 5 minutes at the beginning of this video. So I do apologize indeed. And whilst I was on mute, before I even saw that that my mic wasn't plugged in, I forgot to download the slideshow. Do you know the slideshow that I usually bring you? But if you guys aren't familiar with the Premier League preview show, I have a slideshow of all the games and the rules, etc. And yeah, I've had an absolute nightmare at the start of this weekend, and that's not a good sign, is it, the people? It's not a good sign at all, given what could happen this weekend. So yeah, and I've still not downloaded it. I still haven't. But people, hit the like button if you are new. If you haven't done so already, there it has popped up. You may have seen that at the beginning of this, but if you are watching from the start of the video, then yeah, you're thinking, what am I even talking about? But yeah, I've cut it out, thankfully, if you are watching this afterwards. But people, really do appreciate you all in here, and let me go through the chat once again and big up each and every one of you. Shay here in the building. Big up to yourself, my brother Shay. He says, big up T. The waffle is here. The waffle is here. Big up to yourself, Moss, here in the building, who's doing a Lille versus Lons watch along. So if anyone's interested in that after this stream, go check that out. Big up to my bro Ensman TV, who definitely didn't have a break during the internationals, unlike myself. I had a break, but he's been working hard on the channel and doing a lot of Liverpool content, given the news that's been breaking in the last couple of days. So yeah, go check it out, people, at Ensman TV, if you want to hear his thoughts, his reaction to Alonso staying another season, who he wanted, Xabi Alonso there. But yeah, it doesn't look like it will be him. And Ruben Amorim is the one who looks like Michael Edwards is going to be pursuing one at the end of the season. But there's still plenty to talk about for this season and plenty to focus upon this weekend for Liverpool. Listen to Shay. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Good evening to yourself, Mr. 200. It says, good evening all. Hope your bank holiday is off to a flyer. I hope yours is off to a flyer as well, Mr. 200. Thank you for that nice message, and good evening to yourself and everyone else here in the chat. Yeah, now I'm seeing all of this. Big up to yourself, Pax, my bro. Hope you're keeping good and well here too. And I saw this and it made me smile earlier. I'm wondering who this might be. Arshdeep Singh. Yeah, big up to yourself right there. T, underprepared, truly Shocking, exactly. I know, terrible. I was late to this show, and you know how I usually am, but this is a different level of shambles that we're experiencing this weekend. As you can see, I tidied up my room a little bit. I thought I'd make it a little bit more organized and those things. And you can see I've got my microphone in a different position to how I usually have it. But that's not really done much for me either. And Pax saying Xabi Alonso staying, inject it into my veins. And do you know what? Big up to yourself, Pax, because when the news did come out about Jurgen Klopp announcing that he was leaving, I think you was one of the people. Well, I thought it was inevitable that Xabi Alonso would go to Liverpool in this summer, but I think you was one of them who said, "I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure it's going to happen. Is it the right time?" And he's made that decision that it's not quite the right time for him yet. So those who are aligned in their thinking, like Paxton, in that Xabi Alonso might stay just to gain more experience and really see out this Leverkusen project until the very end. Fair play, you got it right. But yeah, one door closes for Xabi Alonso, another door opens potentially for Ruben Amorim or someone else. That door may shut and then leave the door for someone else. But yeah. He missed the 200 as well. Did say I said it was too early for him, indeed. So missed 200. Pax, well done to yourselves. Done amazing. Yeah, we'll get into predictions as well, people. But if you aren't familiar with this Premier League prediction preview show, we also have predictions on the line here too. And if you're wondering how you may enter your predictions, what you'll have to do, guys, is all predictions must be entered before the first game week fixture of the game week. Leave your predictions in the comments at the end of the stream. I mean, if you had to leave your predictions but before the first game week, you'd all have been out by now. But yeah, before the first fixture of the game week, if you want them to be entered, just pop them into the comment section at the end of the stream. You can put them as long whilst we're here in the chat, whilst you guys have that live experience too, and I will interact with you and any comments or questions that you may have. Please put them into the chat. 3 points for a correct score, 1 point for a correct result. So, for example, the Manchester City Arsenal game, if you predict a 1-1 draw and the end game ends as a 1-1 draw, you will get 3 points. If it ends as a 0-0 draw or a 2-2 draw, you will only get 1 point for the correct result. But if either Arsenal or Manchester City win, you will get 0 points. I hope you do understand that. But yeah, Mr. 200 says, do I get 3 points for that? Not quite, but yeah, you deserve a round of applause instead. But yes, guys, if you do have any questions, let me know your thoughts in the comment section or in the live stream if you are watching live right now. But I think without further ado, we've waffled for too much already, or waffled on mute for too long already. Let us get into the start of this. And Manchester City taking on Arsenal. Right. So, guys, with this fixture here, I'm going to be bringing you a preview show on tomorrow, but at 7:30, in between the Aston Villa versus Wolves game. So right at the end of that, and then before the Brentford versus Manchester United game, where I'll be doing a dedicated preview, probably about 30 minutes or more. You know how it tends to go over here, just focusing on this fixture. And I will give you my prediction, my thoughts. We'll go right in depth because as an Arsenal fan, I think it's right to do so as we look ahead to this fixture. We look at the records but I mean, the record doesn't look good for Arsenal fans, but look at what Arsenal have to overcome, how Manchester City are going to play this game and how they're going to try and have an assault back for their title. They are the current current holders of the Premier League, but Arsenal, the current league leaders at the moment. So we'll be looking into that, how the teams may set up, the key 1v1 battles, Pep Guardiola versus Arteta. We've got to look all into that tomorrow evening. But guys, you can leave your predictions into the comment section or in the live chat right now about this game, but I'll go in much more depth tomorrow. So guys, make sure you do tune into that Saturday tomorrow, which is Saturday tomorrow at 7:30 for the preview. It'll be about half an hour or so just as we look ahead to that game. But big up to everyone that's getting your predictions in the chat right now. I do love to see it. And I'll talk about the team news. I can give you a little bit of team news for you beforehand, just in case you haven't seen any team news before. Like, big up to yourself, and appreciate you if you do come here for the little bits and nuggets of information. I do appreciate that. But for Manchester City, the big news is that John Stones and Kyle Walker are out, according to Pep Guardiola. And the reason I had according to Pep Guardiola is because you never know. You never know what tricks he might have up his sleeve. And in a fixture like this, Pep Guardiola is not averse to playing mind games and to say, oh, yeah, they're out. Next thing you know, they've got another training session tomorrow. They may be able to, they might be able to train. They might be do a late fitness test. And surprise, surprise, one of Stones or Walker. Most likely it would be Stones, because Pep Guardiola said that Walker's injury is more serious than Stones. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. I know it sounds a bit conspiracy theory and tinfoil hats and all of that, but you can never be too careful in Manchester City. But the good news for Manchester City, not so much for Arsenal, is that Akanji, who suffered a knock for Switzerland in midweek, he's going to be fit and he trained today alongside Kevin De Bruyne, who missed and I'm saying it in a proper like Tariq Ray accent, or Kevin De Bruyne as most of us know him as. He's going to be fit and he trained as well after he missed Belgium's fixtures during the international break. Mateus Nunes, if I want to carry on, you know how you actually meant to pronounce it. He's going to be fit and available too. He trained alongside Akanji and De Bruyne. And the one big plus, who was a doubt going into the international break for this game, is Ederson, who has trained too and has looked much better, according to Pep Guardiola. For Arsenal, the team news for us is there's a chance that Gabriel, Saka, and Martinelli could all recover in time for the game. That's what Mikel Arteta said in his press conference earlier. They haven't trained. That's what he also mentioned. They haven't trained yet. But of course, they've still got another training session tomorrow. And if they're able to train there with Gabriel, who has had an inflamed Achilles, Saka, who has had an Achilles problem too, but he's kind of managed that for a while. But he's been managing a hamstring issue. And he came into the international break with a hamstring issue. And Gabriel Martinelli, who suffered a deep gash, a deep cut on his foot. And yeah, had some minor foot bruise in there too. So they could all be available for this crunch fixture, which we'll be looking to in depth, 7:30 Saturday evening. Tune in, my people, for that big match preview. The last time I did a big match preview was for this game as well at the Emirates. And we know what happened with a certain Gabriel Martinelli, who didn't start. If Saka wasn't fit and available, Gabriel certainly was, as they locked down Haaland. But Martinelli took a shot, deflected off Ake, and it went in. And Arsenal beat Manchester City for the first time in a long time. But if we do win this weekend, that'll be the first time we've been in Manchester City at the Etihad under Pep Guardiola, but the first time since 2015, 9 years ago. So, guys, let me see what your thoughts are in the chat. Let me see your predictions right now, but I will get into the game much deeper and I'll give you my predictions tomorrow evening. You can put your predictions as well into the comment section of that stream if you wish. I will do so, because, you know, if you think, hey, that's not fair to read, you know, you're getting a prediction before me, and we'll find out possibly more team news, etc. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'll let you off. You do the other fixtures with me tonight or whenever you're watching this video, but you can predict this game in the comment section at the end of Saturday's preview. So let's have a look in here right now, guys. We've got Shay, who says 3-1 to the Arsenal. I love the sound of that. Paxton has gone 2-1 to Arsenal. Big up to yourself, Pax, who, you know, as Shay said, 3-1. I can't expect it from an Arsenal fan. I mean, I don't expect it, but I see why a lot of Arsenal fans will feel confident. I feel confident going into this game. But Paxton thinks we're going to win 2-1. I love to see that. That makes me smile, Pax. That does indeed. The robot is injured. No, he's not. He's a fit and available. He has trained too. I know he picked up a little knock for the first game in for Norway, but yeah, he played the second and he was totally fine. Mr. 200 says cagey first 70 minutes, then 3 goals in the last 20. Manchester City 1, Arsenal 2. Arsenal do like a late goal. I think us and Liverpool have scored the most late goals this season, like past the 76-minute mark. I know Liverpool scored the latest goal in Premier League history with that winner against Nottingham Forest in the 99th minute. But yeah, Arsenal do like a late goal, and yeah, that would be an entertaining finale to that game there. Paxton says, do I take Gabriel out of my FPL? Got no transfers left, so I might leave it. I would keep him, Pax, to be quite honest with you, man. Gabriel barely misses games for Arsenal. He's almost an ever-present, and because it's a slight issue, it's an inflamed Achilles, even if he still has it and he's not necessarily recovered, I'd still imagine he starts and he plays tomorrow because he's Sunday, because he's such an important figure and an important part of Arsenal's strongest part of the team in the defence. So yeah, Arsenal over Manchester City over Liverpool, Manchester City over Liverpool for the title. As a Man United fan, to be honest, I hear you. But yeah, if you didn't have a little bit of faith that it could happen, and I don't think you'd have done it. Having said that, you said Man United to beat Liverpool 9-0, and they were just under halfway into in terms of scoring. Not the 9 goals that you predicted in the FA Cup. Paxton thinks T is waffling lots of shape. Always with Arsenal shape. Exactly. So let's go now into the next game. The game that we will be predicting, that we'll give a proper preview for, and that is Liverpool at home to Brighton. This game is at it's not at 2:30. It's at 2:00 on Easter Sunday. This game happens before the Arsenal one. So Liverpool, who are also they're the other team in this title race, currently in second place right now. And yeah, they are level on points with Arsenal, just this 7 goals worse off of our goal difference. And here's an opportunity to take advantage of Arsenal and Manchester City playing each other, where one of their title rivals, at least one of them, will drop points in that one. And here's the chance to put some pressure onto that game, onto either team, as they face Brighton and Hove Albion, who do have a good record up against Liverpool. And Roberto De Zerbi has won himself. His first game as Brighton manager was against Liverpool, and that was that 3-3 draw last season, where Trossard scored the hat-trick before he moved to Arsenal in January. Brighton have also, they beat Liverpool 2 quite convincingly in the FA Cup last season and in the Premier League. And then this season, they drew with them. And we know Brighton haven't been at the same level as they were last season, but they still managed to grab a draw against Liverpool in an entertaining game. That was a 2-2 draw as well. And it was a great watch. That was, I thought. Liverpool could have won it. Brighton could have certainly won it too. But yeah, it was a very interesting game. But Liverpool are going to have to take advantage. This is a must-win for Liverpool now, as we are in the final 10 games of the season, where there's not going to be much margin for error, I don't believe. Well, there might be, but they've got to go into this game with that mentality that there's not going to be much opportunities to take advantage of Arsenal dropping points or Manchester City, because there's 3 teams in our title race. It's a lot different if it's just one. Then you can feel a little bit safer if one drops points, but the other might not. So, and there's only 1 point separating the 3 sides, so they're going to be having to win this one. But in terms of the team news for Liverpool, Robertson is to be assessed, says Jurgen Klopp, after he picked up an ankle injury for Scotland in midweek. Curtis Jones, Darwin Nunez, and Ibrahima Konate all trained. So that's a big plus for Liverpool with Curtis Jones having been injured since the Brentford game. He had to come off early with that one there to some bone damage, I believe. But Darwin Núñez, who's been managing injuries in the past couple of weeks and struggling with a bit of fatigue, but he's fit and available. And the same goes for Ibrahim Konate. However, for Liverpool, they do still have three key absentees in Diogo Jota, Alisson, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. For Brighton, the former Liverpool man who left Liverpool, was it in this summer? Was it this summer? The summer just gone, he left Liverpool? I think it was. In James Milner, and João Pedro could be back. João Pedro would be a massive plus for Brighton. He's their top goal scorer this season, probably their player of the season too. He had a great run in the Europa League, but they're now out of that. So they get to focus all attention onto the last remaining games of the Premier League as they try to enter Europe again, whether that's in a Conference League position or in a Europa League spot. Plenty to fight for the Seagulls. Happy Gilmore's about to say. Billy Gilmore returns from suspension for Brighton, but they have got three key absentees themselves in Noel Matoma, Solly March, or Jack Hinshelwood. Those three remain out. So that's a big loss, not having Matoma for this fixture, but they will have Milner and João Pedro. And how I think this game is going to go, I think Roberto De Zerbi could have an upset for Liverpool on the cards here. It wouldn't surprise me if they went to Anfield and got a draw or even a win, to be quite honest with you, because of how De Zerbi's side sets up. This, as football stars make fights. Liverpool won't change for anyone. They'll play as they are at home with that high, relentless press. Whereas Brighton, that's how they want teams to come up against them, so they can try and pick them off. They have struggled this season to come up against teams that have adapted against them and adapted their pressing structures. But what we have seen from Brighton is that they still have a threat to score goals. I think they went on a run where they conceded and scored a goal in a ridiculous amounts of games that stretched back from last season, which ended, unfortunately, earlier on. I believe it was against Fulham in the season a couple of weeks back. But yeah, Brighton, De Zerbi, front-footed team. They will play their way. They will stick to that style that the players know, and that's brought them plenty of success and plenty of plaudits. As De Zerbi is one of the main men who is linked with a Liverpool job in the summer. But Jurgen Klopp, his side, we know how they're going to play. Aggressive, front-footed in their press and very direct too. And that could cause Brighton some problems. So even though I've said that they could cause an upset, I don't believe it will happen. I think Liverpool will win by 3-1. I think it'll be a close game and it'll be cagey throughout the majority of it. But I just think by the end, Liverpool will have the Anfield crowd supporting them, giving that extra bit of energy, that extra bit of impetus, extra bit of belief. Whereas Brighton, I think they'll start to fatigue. We kind of see that after an international break where the games aren't as at the top quality because players coming back at different periods. But I just think that, there'll be a little bit too much left in the tank. Liverpool score plenty of late goals, as I said earlier on, and I just think that they will grab the win in the end by 3-1 tight. It might be 1-1 for a large period. Liverpool nick and make it a 2-1 lead, and then they grab another one on the break as Brighton leave more space behind, trying to grab that equaliser. But I think Liverpool are going to win that there, and that'll be a big plus for Liverpool and their fans go, and they'll be able to sit back, relax, and watch that Manchester City versus Arsenal game, kind of like how Arsenal did when we watched the Liverpool-Man City game before the international break after we beat Brentford. But yeah, I think Liverpool will do the same there. Let me see your thoughts, guys and girls, in the chat, and don't forget, leave your predictions in the comment section if you want to enter the predictions league to be in a chance with multiple giveaways at the end of the season. And then also, this is the last week for the predictions for the predictor of the month, guys. So we do have the predictions league overall, and then we also have predictor of the month, but this is the last weekend for it, this Easter weekend. Good Friday. Have a good Friday to everyone here as well. I forgot to mention that at the start amidst all the chaos. So let's see what you're saying. Paxton says 2-0 Liverpool for this one here. Not happy, but he says that reluctantly. Shay says 4-0 Brighton. Oh, the very optimistic that is. Mr. 200 says 2-1 Liverpool. He sees it similar to me where both teams will score, but Liverpool will just edge it in the end. Big up to yourself, KC, who also agrees with Mr. 200 and says 2-1 Liverpool right there. Let's have a look. With that injury update, 3-2 Brighton. Is that 3-2 Brighton you're going with? After I gave you the injury update. Let me know indeed. I think he's kidding. Yeah, McCasey says 2-1 to Liverpool 2. And Shay, I'd love to do the crazy prediction. I know you do. Shay, never change. We love those crazy predictions. Let's hope that it pays off. If your crazy prediction pays off, I'd love to give you 6 points, but the guys won't let me. Have a cracking day. Did you get the joke? Oh, okay. Have a cracking day. I don't get it, Shay. My bad. It just might be me. It might be me. I'm moving a bit slow today, man. I'm moving a bit slow. But let's go now into the next fixture, which is Tottenham Hotspur taking on Luton. This one is a 3:00 kickoff on Saturday. Huge game for Ange Postecoglou after their defeat to Fulham before the international break. A convincing 3-0 defeat as well. A hammering for Ange Postecoglou and his Tottenham side. But they take on an injury-stricken, depleted Luton squad. Let me give you the team news for this one right here. For Spurs, they have Mickey van der Ven back after he's recovered from a hamstring injury. But for the other key absentees that they have out right now is Fraser Forster, Ryan Sessegnon, and Manos Solomon. But Mickey van der Ven returns, and he will strengthen their defense as Radu Dragusin didn't have a great first start. It's not his debut, but first start as a Spurs player. Not really out of position, but on the wrong side of the defense. But he was brought in January for big money. So, yeah, he'll have a lot of scrutiny in the future, in the coming months. But Mickey van der Ven is back right now for the Tottenham Hotspurs. Can't call them any nicknames because, they're the rivals. Luton Town, however, they have got another key player to join the lengthy injury list, and that is Chidozie Ogbene, as he picked up a hamstring injury representing the Republic of Ireland during the international break, which is a big loss for Luton. His speed, his directness out wide is going to be a massive loss for them. I think he's one of the quickest players in the Premier League this season, especially coming up against that Spurs high line. You think he'd have an opportunity to try and attack that, get in behind, and then create or even score himself, similarly to what we saw him do against Newcastle. But just like that Newcastle game where another player who shone in Sambi Lokonga, he is out alongside Tom Lockyer, Amari Bell, Marvelous Nakamba, Elijah Adebayo, Gabriel Osho, and Jacob Brown. They're the notable absentees. They've got further absentees on the list too, but those are the players who have got quite a few Premier League minutes for Luton this season as they are out. So, guys, let's have a look now. I need to lift this up a little bit here, and let's have a look and see my prediction. I think it's going to be a Spurs win. I've gone for a 3-1 Tottenham win. Again, 3-1, let's say, as the Liverpool score. But I just think that Tottenham at home, they'll create chances. Luton will be strong, resolute in how they defend. They're a hard team to break down. Even though Liverpool beat them 4-1 in the end, it kind of happened a lot towards the second half, and the floodgates opened in that game there. But they will dig in a little bit. They've shown a lot of character, a lot of resilience, this Luton side. Rob Edwards done a fantastic job with the resources that he's got. But he's got them well drilled, well set up. But I just think that the lack of quality in the end will tell in this game. Heung-min Son, James Maddison, the likes of they just won't be able to hold them out. The best team struggle to keep them out. So, yeah, I just think that Luton will struggle with that task too. Let's see what you're saying in here, guys. Paxton says Spurs 4, Luton 2. And ball is very open. Yep. So again, I've gone for both teams to score. You've gone with an extra goal for both sides in that game there. Shay thinks that Tottenham are, they're going to keep a clean sheet against Luton. He just doesn't think Luton have the quality in the end to put the ball in the back of the net and take advantage of that Spurs high line. And I can understand that, especially looking at the injury list with no Chidozie Ogbene. Casey's gone for a 4-0 Tottenham win in this fixture here. Big up to Yannick in the place. Big up to yourself, Yannick. Nice to see you in here. I'm good. How are yourself? How about yourself? And if you do celebrate Easter, happy Good Friday to yourself. And yeah, hope you have a happy Easter weekend to yourself as well. Yeah, Red Devil Yannick. So big up to yourself, Shay. He says 3-0. Oh yeah, he said Tottenham. He said that earlier with a Son hat trick. It's good to have the Premier League back this weekend. It is indeed. It is indeed. I'm glad for it to be back. We've got a very busy last month. Oh, well, month and a bit. 2 months, let's be honest, because we've got the end of May and then the Champions League in June at 2. So, yeah, we've got a busy 2 months, 3 months left to go. And then we've got the Euros. So, yeah, it's going to be, all gas, all hands on deck for the last for the last part of the season. 2-1 Luton you've gone with, and I'd love that. I'd love it if that was a score. I'd love it. He's changed it to 3-1 Tottenham, and Mr. 200's gone for a 2-1 Spurs in this game here. So let's go now into the next fixture, and this is another one to do with the top 4 race in Aston Villa taking on Wolves, a West Midlands, derby game between Aston Villa and Wolves. I think no, I'm not. That's wrong. I was going to say Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa and West Brom are actually closer than Wolves and West Brom. But yeah, Aston Villa taking on Wolves. This is a big game, massive for both teams, really. Let me just have a look at the league table before I get into this, because Wolves are in 9th place with 41 points. They're 3 points off of 7th place West Ham, and they also have a game in hand on West Ham too. They're 6 points off of Man United in 6th, but yeah, they're not really going to be looking for that top 6 position, but they could get a European spot. I think does 8th also open up as well for the Conference League, guys? Let me know. Let me know if you do. If 8th's position opens up for the Conference League, because I know we're gonna looks like we're gonna have the 5th spot for the Champions League. 6th would be Europa League. Would 7th also be Europa League as well? Am I right in saying that? And then 8th would be 8th and 9th would be the Conference League. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look at the rules on that. But Wolves certainly have a race for a European spot. And Aston Villa are currently sitting in 4th position, played a game more than Spurs. But, hey, points in the table is what matters the most. And they're currently 3 points ahead of Tottenham in that spot after losing 4-0 to Tottenham, because Spurs weren't able to take advantage of that 4-0 win and then go into their next game with that game to go above Aston Villa. They did draw against West Ham last weekend, but if Spurs would have won, that'd have put them above them with a game in hand, and they'd have been in the driving seat. They technically still are in the driving seat because the goal difference is only 1. And Aston Villa have a goal difference of +1 over Spurs, so Spurs still have the keys in their hand. Let's be honest. But Aston Villa, they'll try and take advantage of any Spurs slip up if they can grab a win against Wolves. But let me give you some Villa team news right here. Matty Cash is out for the next couple of weeks after picking up a hamstring injury for Poland. John McGinn serves the second game of his 3-match ban, and Jacob Ramsey could return after picking up an ankle injury against Ajax in the first leg. So he could be a big plus. A goal-scoring midfielder, Jacob Ramsey. He picks up nice positions, late runs into the box. But yeah, and they definitely need him with the key man and one of the is he the skipper? No, well, Tyrone Mings is the skipper, but one of the main leaders of that Aston Villa team in John McGinn, who's going to be out. For Wolves, they've got a big plus. However, they've got a big addition who returned to training at the international break during the international break, and that is Matheus Cunha, who's expected to be in the squad after his hamstring issue. Jean-Richard Bellegarde, Craig Dawson, Pedro Neto, and Hwang Hee-chan are all out. However, so big players out there. Hwang is huge. Neto as well. Both players key for Wolves going forward, adding that speed, directness, creativity, and goals they'll be missing with Hwang and Neto. Craig Dawson, that defensive prowess, leadership, missing out of the back. And Bellegarde, who has been a bit of an enigma whenever I've seen him play for Wolves, but he's out with an injury. Aston Villa at home. How I think this game is going to go. That high line that they do have, they are open like Spurs in that sense, where they will give the opposition quite a few opportunities, but this allows them to create many opportunities themselves. Leon Bailey, he didn't participate for Jamaica in the international break. There was a big interview about that. And long story short, I agree with him. If you want my views on that, I agree with Leon Bailey. The Jamaican FA is run terribly. It's not professional at all. I'm glad he's making that stand. I think he's doing the right thing personally, as someone with Jamaican heritage and Jamaican family. So, yeah, definitely. I agree with him. Leon Bailey in his stance to not play for the Jamaican national team, and until they fix up, well, what's the point? You know what I mean? This is the best way to protest, in my opinion. Don't play, because you're the key player for them. You're one of the main ones. You are the face, really, of Jamaican football. And if you're taking that stance, it's going to I think it kind of has the best opportunity to force action, to force change. And if it doesn't happen, well, that's the Jamaican FA for you. But yeah, I think it will be open. Leon Bailey's a key player for Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins, huge for them too. I just think they'll just have too much in the end for Wolves. Close game, but I think it will be 2-0. And I just don't think that Wolves have the yeah, I just think missing Pedro Neto is going to be huge for them if they are going to try and take advantage of that high line that Villa do have. Mateus Cunha being back is key, and he can exploit that himself. They do have other players and other threats going forward, like Ryan Ait-Nouri. But after that Coventry defeat, I don't know, man. It was a shock. It was a real shock, and Coventry deserved to win in the end. So coming off the back of a defeat in one Midlands derby, they're going to go into another Midlands derby and end in defeat, in my eyes, and that's how I think the game is going to go. Let me see what you guys and girls are saying in the chat. We've got Pax is in here, says a 2-2 draw. He thinks it's going to be a draw. So does Shay, who's gone for a 3-3. Villains 2, Wolves 1, says Casey. So he agrees with me in a 2 in a Villa win. But Mr. 200 agrees with my prediction as well in the score and says a 2-0 Aston Villa win. Only if the English teams goes long in the European competition. Yeah, I know that. There's a big percentage, there's a big chance of that happening, especially if Arsenal and Manchester City qualify. I think it was after West Ham beat Freiburg, actually. It made it basically like Liverpool, West Ham, and all the other European teams would have to go out, which just can't happen. I just don't think that will happen, given the strength of the Premier League teams right now in those competitions. So let's have a look. I need both teams, Spurs and Aston Villa, to lose. Yeah, of course, as a Man United fan, you do, so that you can try and break into that top 4, top 5 spot. How could Matty Cash be Polish? Yeah, I think it's through his family. I think one of his parents is half Polish. Yeah, I think that's what it is. One of his parents is half Polish. Look, his grandmother is Polish, something like that. Thank you for the new subscriber as well, by the way. I'm 24 subscribers away from 800. Thank you for letting me know that, Shay, guys. If you do not mind, just hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. But also, let your friends and family or whoever you connect with on social media, let them know of the channel so we can get this community growing. We've got plenty of content coming over the next 2-3 months or so. So let's have a look. 3-1 Wolves, says Yannick. Seeing some Jamaica people going against Bailey, saying that he's using that as an excuse to party, etc., etc. I have also seen some Jamaican people going against it. I've not seen the party one, but I know Leon Bailey does like a party, so it doesn't surprise me that that's going out there. But I've seen Jamaican people go against it and saying, "Oh, you should represent the nation. You should never turn them down. That's the best way to do so." But no. Jamaica aren't ever going to be successful, and for someone like Leon Bailey, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a key figure, and the fact that he's making a stance is because he wants to. Of course, he wants to represent Jamaica. He's done so plenty of times in the past, and he spoke about in the interview where he's had to pay for his flights out there. He's had to sort plenty of things out for himself, pay money out of his own back pocket to even represent Jamaica. Now, I think that they need to do better for not just him, but for the for the nation. Look at the African Cup of Nations. Look at Mauritania. Yeah, and look at how they had a shock rise, but that's because their FA was doing it properly, invested the money that was given to them through FIFA in their football infrastructure, doing so much. And look, and Mauritania could even go, they could surpass Jamaica in the way that Jamaica are going, and that shouldn't happen given the players that we generate not just in Jamaica, but in and around the world. Within the UK, we've got plenty of Jamaican heritage in there, people that would who could represent Jamaica, like Mikel Antonio's, and plenty of other examples there. Maybe Ivan Toney would want to represent Jamaica if they were actually run properly, but he made the right decision. Nope, I'll go to England instead. So yeah, man. Yeah, crazy. Diaby up front. Diaby could be up front. I hope he doesn't score, though. I'll tell you that. Off to play Fortnite with the boy. I will catch up in the morning. Great show as always. Big up to yourself. Big up and give T my love as well. And hopefully you smash him at Fortnite. Big up Brush in here as well. Listen to Brush as he says, smash those light, folks. Big up to yourself, my bro. Cunha bounce back goal from injury, says Yannick. That's what he thinks going to happen right there. Kingston Town, great song that is. A great song indeed. Okay, I like that. I like the joke. Sorry, I can't read it. Family friendly show, but I like the joke. Now, big up Niall in the place. Long time no see, my brother. I hope that you're doing well and the family are good. I appreciate your nice message right there. Look, what a loving community we've got, guys. I really do appreciate you all. That's all of you that's tuning in here, man. Really do appreciate it. I'm not gonna get in my light skin bag, as I say, where I get emotional, but nah, man, it's just a nice message. And big up to yourself. I hope you and a family are having a happy Easter too as well. Now, big up to yourself each and every time. Where's Drew? He's with his father right now. So yeah, he's with his dad. I'm the uncle. I'm not the father. It's my sister's son. So yeah, I'm the uncle. Yeah, he's with his dad. Just funny. Big up to yourself, guys. I keep saying big up and all of that. Yeah, I need to expand my vocabulary, don't I? I'm a little bit tired at the moment. That's probably why I'm having such a mare. But let's move on into the next game. Brentford versus Manchester United. Red Devil Yannick, Paxton, Casey, all in the building, and anyone else. Brosh is in here too. That's watching is thinking about this fixture. Huge fixture indeed, as Man United are trying to make that chase for the Champions League position. A club of Man United's size, with their stature, with their pedigree, with the players that they have, not necessarily the players that they have right now, but the players that have worn that famous red Man United shirt, should be in the Champions League. That should be a minimum, and that shouldn't be praised. That should be the standard. But of course, that isn't the standard right now. And Erik ten Hag has got a big job on his hands for the rest of the season. He's done well beating Liverpool in the FA Cup quarterfinals. They are facing Coventry City in the semis, they are the massive favourites for that tie. They're looking to potentially face Manchester City again in another Manchester Derby FA Cup final, which they did lose last season. Or they could face Chelsea as well, for who they know. If Chelsea knock out Man City, and Chelsea have had some good results against Man City this season, not wins, but good results given their position. But let's have a look into this game here and the team news for both sides. For Brentford, for the Bees, the busy Bees, Sergio Reguilon, who was on loan at Man United earlier in the season, who's now at loan at Brentford, is suspended. So he won't be available to play this fixture against his side that he started the Premier League with at the beginning of the season, as he picked up a red card against Burnley in their 2-1 defeat. Good news, however, so I've just given a little bit of bad news. Brian and Mbeumo is expected to start for the Bees. However, a little bit of bad news. I'm giving you a bad sandwich right here, Brentford. But Christian Norgard and Ethan Pinnock are out. And let me say this firsthand. Christian Norgard and Ethan Pinnock are vital players for Brentford defensively, to give them that stability and how they like to play and how they like to really frustrate teams in that 5-3-2 structure that Thomas Frank likes to play against big teams. And he's done it even against the sides in and around them after they've had a poor season, really. So, yeah, he's the two players that are key for that are going to be out of this fixture. The captain Christian Norgard, and the other captain and the vice captain in Ethan Pinnock are out. For Man United, however, they do have some good news, and one of the best signings they've made in recent years, let's be quite honest, in Lisandro Martinez is back in the squad. He has been training after that knee injury he picked up against West Ham at the start of February. He is back and could be available. Will Erik ten Hag want to start him? I know that he's had, in the past 12 months, he's had some bad injuries. He had a foot injury, and then that reoccurred, and he had to take some time out with that injury there, came back into the squad and picked up a bad knee injury, which wasn't as serious as first feared, but he is here and he is back and available. So we'll see if Erik ten Hag puts him back into the side. They are missing a left-footed player, let's be quite honest, because no Luke Shaw, who's out injured, who is expected to play some part this season. Erik ten Hag did say in his press conference earlier on, but they have no left footers in their defence available at the moment, and Sandro Martinez will be a big plus. However, Harry Maguire is to be assessed after he pulled out of the international duty after he got substituted early against Brazil. And winner and the man of the who had that key moment against Liverpool in Amad Diallo is suspended, so he won't be available to play this game here. But in terms of how I think this game is going to go, guys, you'll see my prediction in a bit, but I think this is going to actually be a cracking game, and that's why I want to do the stream at 7:30 and then do it for half an hour, focus on the Man City Arsenal game, but then I want to watch this one because I think it's going to be a cracking game. Earlier on in the season, this was a 3:00 kickoff, and we saw a dramatic end to that fixture. McTominay coming off the bench, scoring the 2 goals in the 90th minute. He literally won the game himself. But Brentford were leading throughout most of that. Brentford at home, they are a bit more difficult. And they this season, they had a very good record against the top sides until this season at home, where they have struggled to keep goals out. But so have Man United. Man United don't have a great goal difference. They've got 0 right now. Brentford, Ivan Toney, off the back of his goal, could have Man United are interested in Ivan Toney as well. Like, when I say interested, loosely interested, where a lot of teams are interested in Ivan Toney. He's going to want to make that big move. I'm sure he goes to Man United. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he would go to Man United, leaving Brentford, unless there was a better offer on the table. But I think it's going to be a goal fest. I've gone with Man United edging it, though. I've gone 3-2 Man United. I just think both teams quite leaky at the back. We saw in that Liverpool game the amount of space that Liverpool had. They didn't really create that many chances with that space. So that's what I was quite. I mean, I wasn't disappointed. I wanted Man United to win, but Liverpool, I was disappointed in how they didn't take advantage of that. The big gaps that they had in that between the midfield and the defense, with the quality that they had. I just think that with Brentford and how they play, they'll be like, all right, Man United, you have the ball. Man United will try and press them. They're not afraid to go long. Ivan Toney's probably the best striker in England for sure. I'm going to say in Europe at playing a long ball to aerial duels. He's ridiculous. That's why I've kind of wanted him so much, because how Arsenal are a lot more direct. And I just think in the Premier League, it's so important to have a striker like that who you can go long to, can link play well, and connect with others. And your wide players, your quicker, your sharper, technical players. I think he's brilliant for that. Ivan Toney, quite old-fashioned in the way, but he's got the technical ability and finishing to match as well. I just think, yeah, you just make for a goal fest. So I've gone with Brentford 2, Man United 3. But Man United in the end to score the 3rd goal and for it to be a late winner. I want to see your thoughts, guys and girls, in the chat. Big up to everyone who's here right now. Paxton says Brentford 1, Man United 4. Ivan Toney to score the 1 goal for Brentford. Of course, you had to put that. Hey, big up my bro King in the place, who is in here. And you did say in the last Premier League preview / FA Cup preview show that Coventry would have something. As yeah, you know, that's the place of where your kids were born and where you lived for so long, my man. So yeah, big up to yourself, my bro King. And you were right, the Sky Blues did do it. But with the Sky Blues, do they have something for Man United? Do they have something for Man United? I'm asking you that. King. 4-1 Man United as well. Paxton and Yannick both going for it. Casey's gone for a draw, though. And he thinks that Ivan Toney will score the equaliser to hurt them. And Buemo back is massive. I'm even changing big because it's massive for Brentford, but they need their defenders back. So he's gone 2-1 United. I hear you. Ethan Pinnock being out is a big loss for them, and Norgard in the base, that midfield, is a huge loss. Shay says 2-1 Man United. Tony to the goal. Eric Ten Hag has done okay, considering three of our fullbacks are out, always out. In Malacia out until 2025. Is it 2025 he's out for? Whoa, that's crazy. That's mad. But yeah, sure. Wan-Bissaka's been out a lot. Yeah, even Lindelof has been out for a key period, and he's not even one of your fullbacks, is he? And then Malacia, we haven't seen since last season. Kobe Mainoo, what a player we have on our hands. Yannick, yeah, serious baller. Yeah, do you know what, Yannick, and those Man United fans who haven't done so, go check out my ones to watch stream in the summer. Before a ball was even kicked, I told you who were the ones to watch this season. Have a guess. Have a guess who I told you to watch this season. Yeah. So and have a little listen to that, and I wonder what your thoughts are. I made a little prediction in there too. I do recommend you watch it. Man United fans, you might enjoy that, and you might respect my opinion a little bit more. As I do try to be objective about your club. I do try to be as objective as possible. You know, I can't always take my Arsenal hat off, as you can see right now. But yeah, what a player Kobe Mainoo is, and he was fantastic when I saw him in pre-season too. Ivan Toney to Spurs next season and win that is. Ugh. Okay, they aren't winning the league next season, but if Ivan Toney went to Spurs, that would make me sick. I wouldn't be happy. Let's have a look. Fancy Landal in there. I know, and then winning the league. If United think they can walk over Coventry, they'll be in for a shock. It will be a classic FA Cup game. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so indeed. I hope that will be good. King, shall I subscribe? Yeah, subscribe to King's. Yeah, football show for sure, man. Definitely. Friend of the channel, a long-time friend of the channel. Yeah, great football opinions too. Kulusevski's son, Madison Johnson, and Tony with Pelro, Udogie, Romero, all dominant in that defense. Certain to happen. Not win the league though, Casey. Not, you know how this Premier League is. Very good players, and they have a good squad already. But winning the league's different. You don't not just about good players, mentality, managers, etc. So much more. They can't concede the amount of goals that they do. With those defenders that you've just mentioned right there, they've conceded a heck of a lot of goals. Is Rico Henry back? He's so important for Brentford. I rate him highly. Rico Henry isn't back. He isn't back, King. Yeah, missing until at the end of to the end of the season, really. So yeah, no Rico Henry back for Brentford. He picked up a big injury, ACL. It was an ACL injury. I think it was a meniscus tear too, as well. Don't mention Chelsea with Nick, OnlyFans subscriber Jackson. I got my Arsenal flag. Big up Shay, love to see that, and thanks Shay. I got some good news. What's the good news, Shay? Let us know in the chat. I remember the last good news you had, and that was your sister getting married. Congratulations to your sister each and every time. The next game that we'll get into, guys, is Nottingham Forest taking on Crystal Palace. This one's a huge game in regards to the relegation battle. Nottingham Forest currently in 18th spot after their 4-point deduction, where Luton have climbed above them. They've both played the same amount of games. There's only 1 point between them. Luton with 22 points, Nottingham Forest with 21. Everton with 25 points, and I think they're currently pending another potential points deduction, so for their second charge. So the Premier League table is not even final yet. So I think Luton always say this as well, like, don't have a look at the Premier League table right now, because Nottingham Forest's decision is currently under appeal too, so that could still change. They could get points given back, who knows. But this is huge. Crystal Palace, however, they are at this current moment in time 8 points above Nottingham Forest. But if Nottingham Forest win, that draws it back to 5. Then Palace are down back there in that relegation battle. Currently, they're in a decent spot. If they grab a win here, though, Palace, they will put themselves further adrift and into a safer position. Not guaranteed safety, but in a much safer position. It doesn't even look like 40 points is going to be the mark. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Well, Forest 10 games, they can get 30 points. They'll get 51. No, they're not getting that. Like, even if they win half of those games, 15? Yeah, nah. 40 points is not to worry about. I don't think, 40 points won't be to worry about. Probably be 33 points might get you up this state, keep you up this season. And if Crystal Palace grab a win, they might. Yeah, grab a win. They're 1 point after 33. So let's have a look into team news right now for this game here. With Nottingham Forest, Chris Wood has recovered after the minor injury he picked up against Luton. However, Willy Bolly, Ola Aina, Taiwo Owanyi, and Gonzalo Montiel are out alongside Nuno Tavares as well, or Tavares as most people know him. For Crystal Palace, Sam Johnston is out for the rest of the season after his elbow surgery, after he picked up an injury there. Michael Elise is back in training, but won't be available for this game. It's too soon. He's just trying to get himself back sharp and back fit. But yeah, he won't be available for this one. However, Palace do have some good news with their right back, a new signing who's made a good impression in his time at Selhurst Park in Munoz and Schlupp. They are both in contention for them. And yeah, he picked up a slight injury during the international break for Colombia after scoring against Spain too. But yeah, they should be back fit and available. Let's my thoughts into this game. I think that Crystal Palace are going to win. I just think in the end, that Ollie Glasner, he's got them set up well. Even though they haven't had positive results in all of their games recently against Spurs, they could take a lot from that. That it was mistakes, essentially errors that cost them that game. They were in the lead. They didn't create much, but they was well set up. And Ollie Glasner's done well there against Luton. It was a last gasp winner. It was a very heartbreaking dagger for them in that game there. But of course, they did beat Burnley 3-0 and they drew 1-1 with Everton as well. So yeah, I just think that Crystal Palace are going to go on here and grab their first away win in a while. I can't remember the last time that Palace went away from home. Let's have a quick look. Oh, no, I can't show me all the fixtures. I just want to see yours. But yeah, I think Palace will grab a win here, and that will put Nottingham Forest in further danger, but take Palace out of that relegation battle. Let's have a look right here, guys. Paxton agrees with me. He thinks that Palace are going to win 1-0. Let me blow this candle out. There we go. And a nice candle going. It smells nice, but yes, I need to open the door and that now. Forest, so yeah, Palace 1-0. Forest 1-1, says Shay. Ivan Toney and Amadou Onana will give Spurs the physicality to succeed, says Casey. Forest 2, Crystal Palace 2. So he thinks that one's going to be a draw. Big up to yourself, Moss, each and every time. No, Drew's not here. No, he's not here. Imagine Spurs stealing Ivan Toney from Arsenal. It doesn't look like that we're after him anymore, Red Devil Yannick, but Spurs will definitely make it that way. It was all reports and from credible ITKs that were saying that we're interested in Ivan Toney, but that interest has cooled off. But yeah, Spurs, I don't want him going there because I think he'll be a massive success. Just sub to Shay as well. Love that. Look what a community we have right here. Moss is putting in his predictions in here. He thinks for this game, Forest are going to win and they're going to beat Crystal Palace. 2-1 Nottingham Forest 2, says King. 3-1 Crystal Palace. Elise man of the match, but Elise not guaranteed, but I don't think he'll be featuring in this one. He's only just got back. Let's have a look. But yeah, that's everyone's predictions there. I've gone for a Palace win. We've got a couple of Forest wins here in the chat as well. A couple of Palace ones too. So very split in your opinion. But remember, if you want to submit your predictions, put them in to the comment section at the end of the stream. Let's go into the next game. Bournemouth taking on Everton in this fixture here. So we've got plenty to look at for this one. Team news. Bournemouth, I've got some good team news. Tyler Adams, of course, returns. What a goal from Tyler Adams. He scored for the USA during the international break too. What a hit that was. Well, he's back. I think he's going to be huge for Bournemouth, not just for this season, but for the next season under Andoni Iraola. They have that defensive midfield presence, someone who can give them that tenacity, that defensive and the energy in and around there to screen the back four, to help within transition and also in build-up play as well. I think they've missed that. They've looked quite open, Bournemouth, in transition, but Tyler Adams will be a key player if they are to have a strong end to the season. But Max Aarons, who's another key player for them, the England under-21 winner, Euros winner, is back from a hamstring injury that's kept him out since January. Luis Sinisterra and Marco Senesi are out, though, for the Cherries. However, Lloyd Kelly is back in training, but most likely won't be fit and available for this game. That's a big plus defensively for them, as they are missing Marco Senesi, who's a left-footed centre-back, but they have another left-footed centre-back returning soon. For Everton, Idrissa Gana Gueye has recovered from a groin injury. However, this game is too soon for Danjuma, who has returned from training after picking ankle ligament damage. But yeah, Amadou Onana, who Casey mentioned, he had a good game, I thought, against England. Not a stellar one, a good game. Me and King, we've spoken about Onana previously, as he's been linked with Arsenal. I'm not against that move. I know King doesn't necessarily want it. He sees the benefits for Amadou Onana coming into the side, but I just think with Amadou Onana, he would take the reliance, that pressure off of Declan Rice, and that defensive and physical presence, the energy that he possesses, because we don't have anyone else of that similar profile apart from Declan Rice in the Arsenal team. But Amadou Onana has that. He's not to the level of Declan Rice, and I'm not sure if he ever will get to that. But yeah, he's a top player for me, and I think he'll have a key role in this game here in that midfield to try, if Everton are to try and get something out of this game. Andoni Iraola has his sides, and they picked up some good points, some good comebacks before the international break. Comeback against Sheffield United, comeback against Luton, too. But I think this is going to be a tight, cagey game. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. The reason I've gone for that is because Everton are a good team away from home. Sean Dyche has set them up well. They've been quite unfortunate in a lot of games. And yeah, if it weren't for their points deductions, they could have been easily sitting comfortably in mid-table right there. But they did break the rules, and so they did suffer that points deduction. And for me, rightly so, because if you do break the rules, you deserve to get punished. That's what they're in there for. But yeah, I think it'll be a 1-1 draw, tight, cagey game, but both teams will come out with the even honours shared. Is that what it is? I can't even get my words out. Let me have a look. Guys, support the community. Shay's trying to reach 25 subscribers on his channel. Drop him a sub if you haven't done so already. I'm a subscriber. King's a subscriber there too. Big up to yourself, Shay, each and every time. So go check out Shay Arsenal, who's always a big friend, family, big TTF member here. Big up to yourself, Shay. You are a legend indeed. I'm only doing it to wind you up that Spurs will be champions next season. I know you, Casey. I know what you're like. Big up to yourself each and every time, Case. Let's have a look and see what you're saying in the chat. Everton 3-2 says Shay. 3-3 draw says Pack. So he thinks it's going to be a goal fest in this game here. I like it. I also think it's going to be a draw, but I'd prefer yours. 2-1 Bournemouth, says King. Solanke brace. He just thinks that the Cherries have too much for Everton. And Solanke's in hot form. Former Liverpool man will want to perform well against Everton as well. 2-1 the Cherries as well, says KC. Congratulations, Shay. Congratulations. Happy, is it 12 years as well? 12-year anniversary. Congratulations, Shay, for you and your girl, my man. And yeah, do you know what? You share the same anniversary as my mom and stepdad's marriage anniversary. They've been married for 10 years now. So yeah, that's great news and nice to share. And I'll share that with my mom as well, of course. And I want to congratulate you both. And I'll send my mom your congratulations too as well, Shay. Appreciate you, my man. What else have we got here? I went 1-1. That's for Brentford versus Man United. and Braymo and dynamic combo finally back together. Yep, it is indeed. 4-3 Bournemouth that will come back. Yeah, that was I thought you was on about this game being a 4-3 Bournemouth comeback. Yeah, that was a good one against Luton. 3-0 down at half time. I think there'll be lots of goals in this game too. Wow. Another goal fest for Bournemouth. I'm 22 subscribers away from 25. Let's get there, guys. Let's get him up there as soon as possible. I appreciate you, my man. King says, I think Onana would be a good player for Liverpool. He's very good on the ball. Very good off the ball, sorry, but not on the ball. Not the one for me at Arsenal. Good project player. I hear you. My thing is, though, do we necessarily need someone who's going to be as key on the ball, though, King, next season? If we're keeping a Jorginho, who's going to have a big role to play. If we're going to have, Ben White, Timber, who's going to return, I think we'll even see an improvement in Declan Rice in possession as well. I think reinforcing that midfield with more physicality and more strength and more off the ball dominance will just make us unstoppable in the middle. And Onana has room to develop on the ball. I 100% agree with you there. We've never really seen him have that responsibility on the ball, given the size that he's played for. He has shown moments and promising signs. He's got a nice little flat, long pass, which is a good pass that I like looking at. And when I'm looking at his technical ability, he can play those passes. It's more to do with the decision making with Amadou Onana. It's not a lack of technical ability. It's more about having that right decision, pass selection, shall I say. I appreciate that as well, my bro King. Thank you for that there. My car passed NC MOT. Big up to yourself, KC. That's good news, that is, because you know how stressful that can be. An MOT test. My birthday's on the 12th of July on Friday. Hey, big up to yourself, Shay. We'll be wishing you a happy birthday when we get to that. You also need to see Onana injury prone before buying, and is expensive. True. He has picked up a few injuries this season. Not so much last season, but this season he picked up a few injuries. We had Devi Yannick, so it's a good point to mention right there. And the expensive, he has been expensive previously, but I just think maybe with a PSR situation that Everton have, they're building a new stadium, and it might be a good opportunity to try and get him on a cheaper fee, potentially maybe in the £45 million region for a Premier League player. That's not too bad, I don't think. United, Kimmich and Onana. Hey, I think Onana and Mainu would be a great midfield pairing, by the way. Kimmich, don't get me wrong, fantastic player, brilliant player on the ball. I just don't know, it's the off the ball stuff for me in the Premier League. You know how important that is. It's the off the ball stuff. I think he's better suited at right back in the Premier League, to be honest with you. Rice and Onana, Bob the Builder couldn't block up the goal better. Exactly. That would be a real presence in that midfield. Let's go now into we've got 3 more games to go for. I'm going to whiz through these a little bit more. There's European places to play for both teams, for Newcastle and West Ham United. But we're going to whiz through this one right here. Let me give you the team news for Newcastle and then West Ham. Trippier, Barnes and Livramento. So Kieran Trippier, Harvey Barnes and Tino Livramento could all return for this fixture, which would be much added boosts for Newcastle, who have had a horrendous season with injuries. However, I have given you a little bit of good news, Newcastle, but there is some bad news. Lewis Miley's out for 6 weeks after picking up a back injury, and Sven Botman is out for the rest of the season after his ACL injury, and he's just had surgery in the past week for that. So no Sven Botman, no Lewis Miley. However, Trippier, Barnes, Livramento could return. For West Ham, Edson Alvarez, that's a big loss. I think he's been key for them this season. And yes, they've not performed as well in terms of their play, but in results, he's been key for them. Probably their player of the season and their best signing. You could pull up there with Mohamed Kudus and Edson Alvarez, but he picked up his 10th yellow card in the last fixture, and he's going to be suspended for 2 games. Lucas Paquetá and Naif Ajer to be assessed. They will be assessed for the Hammers. Lucas Paquetá, wow. I mean, apart from the constant fouling he did against England in that Brazil game, he was brilliant, phenomenal. What a player, what a talent. And yeah, West Ham will do well to keep him for the remainder of the season. The only reason he's there is because of that betting investigation he has right now, which we saw with Newcastle player Sandro Tonali, who's being charged with 50 more betting allegations. So yeah, we'll see more on that as more news breaks on that, of course. Maxwell Cornet is back in training for the Hammers, and Mohamed Kudus is being monitored for the Hammers too after he didn't represent Ghana due to an injury, a minor injury, but he could be available for this game. But if not, West Ham have got some key players out, and that is why I've gone for a Newcastle win by 3-1. I'm going to whiz through the other next 2 games and then look at your predictions in the chat, guys. So get them coming in thick and fast. Pause. No diddy. Chelsea host Burnley in this fixture here. As Chelsea will try and make a late assault, I guess, on European places. They just want to have a good end to the season under Mauricio Pochettino. Potentially top it off with an FA Cup, which will be a difficult task ahead. But given the job that they've got to face up against Manchester City. But Chelsea take on Burnley. Romeo Lavia will miss the rest of the season due to another setback he's picked up, he's only made 1 Premier League appearance for Chelsea this season. Not been a successful signing yet for the Blues, but yeah, imagine if he went to Liverpool, they wouldn't have picked up Endo. And Endo's been key for them when McAllister hasn't been fit and available. And the season could be looking completely different for Liverpool right now. But Romeo Lavia will miss the rest of the season. Cole Palmer and Ben Chilwell picked up knocks for England. That's why we didn't see Cole Palmer, but Ben Chilwell picked up his second knock he picked up his knock in the second England game. Marlo Gusto has recovered from a virus, so he should be available for this one here. But there's more bad news as Carney Chukwuemeka, Nathaniel Chalobah and Robert Sanchez are out for Chelsea. For Burnley, Datro Fofana is ineligible, meaning that Lyle Foster is likely to start. Luca Koleosho, Nathan Redmond, and Jacob Ramsey are all out. For this game, I've gone for a Chelsea 2-0 win. I just think that Burnley, they will play well. I think they'll cause Chelsea a few issues, and you'll be like, ooh, they attack very well. They've got good players. And Vincent Kompany's got them set up well going forward. But I just think defensively, they're a porous team. Set pieces, they concede a lot. Chelsea aren't even a prolific team from set pieces, but they're just that bad defensively. Burnley, I just think that Chelsea will win that by 2-1. And the final fixture is Sheffield United taking on Fulham. Sheffield United have Mason Holgate back from his 3-match ban, which should have been about 10, to be quite honest with you, after that red card he picked up against Brighton. Cameron Archer and Anis Ben Slimani could return. George Baldock, who's touch and goal after he picked up a calf problem representing Greece. I didn't even know he represented Greece until this international break. Well, he represented them in the previous one too. No new injury news for Fulham. Calvin Bassey returned early from Nigeria's camp in the international break, but he should be fine to start. And Fulham have surprised me this season. I thought they were going to be one of the other teams going down with Sheffield United, but they've been very good, and could be knocking onto those European places again this season. And I've gone for a 3-1 win for Fulham there. So, guys, what are your predictions for the Newcastle versus West Ham, Chelsea taking on Burnley, and Sheffield United taking on Fulham? Let me know your thoughts right now. Let me have a quick look in your thoughts to those of you in the chat. Shay has gone for 4-0 Newcastle win. Paxton's gone for a 2-0 West Ham win. West Ham fan base is shambolic still. People saying get rid of Moyes here and there. Yeah, I hear it to a certain extent, though, Pax. I do. Given the players that they've got, the amount of money that they've spent, they do expect to see better football. But the position that they're in. You can't be calling for a manager's head. You can ask for more, but without demanding and without seeming ungrateful. And what I've seen from a lot of West Ham fans does seem pretty ungrateful, to be quite honest with you. Magpies 2, Hammers 1, says Casey. Tonali facing another 50 charges for betting. Yeah. It is silly. It is silly. But again, betting addiction can be quite serious. And and those things, as society, we don't really look at it like in a similar way to a drug addiction, but it is kind of the same thing, like similar thing in an addiction in itself, where if it's not managed properly, he seems like he's definitely got that, and he just needs the right support. I don't agree though with all the. Having said that, and I've been quite on the nice side regarding that there, but all the we support you, this and that, and the other. Like, come on, mate. Like Newcastle, support him, be there for him, but let's not make a big, song and dance about it. Sorry. He still has time to appeal, King, so don't know whether what will happen, but could be another bad incoming. Yep, exactly. Yannick says 4-2 West Ham, 2-2 draw in the Newcastle West Ham game, says King. Shay says 2-1 Chelsea. 2-0 Lille right now. Zagrova with the brace, not the Iceman, or not Jonathan David. 2-0 Chelsea as well, says Moss. 2-0 Chelsea. Wow, Newcastle must be so mad. Should they so mad they should sue him if he gets another suspension, says King. 2-1 Newcastle. Hammers. Damn. Yeah, says Moss. 2-1 Burnley. Lille only Lens, says Moss. Wow, Lille doing well. Watford 2-1 up. Lavia represents Chelsea this season. Just shambolic. Absolutely, King. Totally agree. Cole Palmer 3-0 against the Claret, says Casey. So you think he will come and score a hat-trick? I've been impressed with Cole Palmer this season. Very good going forward. Still think he needs to learn more off the ball and out of possession. If the team he's going to play for on a consistent basis is going to be a top side. But very good player going forward. Mudryk put them into the Euros. He did. It was a good goal in the end for Ukraine. Massive goal for them. We'll get to see more of Mudryk in the Euros. Sheffield United 1-0, says Shay. Dovbyk is coming to the Euros as well. He's been very good with Zinny. I know you're going to be rooting for Ukraine, Moss. 1-1 Chelsea Burnley, says King. Wow, that'll be a huge. I think that could be the final nail in the coffin for Pochettino. They'll just, even if he stays, it'll be a dead man walking. Some people might say that already, but I don't know. I just think if he has a good end to the season, he might be able to see the starter next. Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0, says Pax. 2-0 Fulham, says King. 5-0 Fulham, says Red Devil Yannick. 2-1 Fulham, says Casey. And I think that is every prediction that we've got right here. Big up to my brother Mo Money he's one of the delegates over on KG's channel. Massive Arsenal fan as well. He saw me defending Arsenal on the Reckless Premier League preview show. Big up to yourself. Review show, not preview, review show. Big up to yourself, my bro. Says we're gonna do this. Come on, you Gunners. Believe Mo Money. Believe, my brother. And I will be doing an extensive preview on that game tomorrow at 7:30. So make sure you check that out, guys. These games after the international break can be tricky. Very true. Burnley looks better the past few games, beating Brentford. Yep. Drew against West Ham. They were 2-0 up, really, and they shouldn't have drawn that. They should have took all 3 points in the end. But I hear you. Here is the predictions league table before I added up the FA Cup special and the Premier League one that we had just before the international break. But here's what the table looks like now. Mange only picked up 2 points, but Moss has closed the gap ever so slightly. 18 points now between Mange and Moss. I'm still in third position. Pax in fourth, Mr. 200 in fifth. We're taking up the top 5 positions as it stands. Shay's 3 points behind Jacob. Now, Jacob had a flying start at the beginning of the season. and he's not had his predictions in since. Jacob, my other nephew, and as well, he was top of the league for a long period. So yeah, Shay is 3 points behind him. King over there, yet to make the 100-point mark. Make sure you get your predictions in the chat, King, at the end of this, when you see you get over the 100-point mark in there too. So big everyone who has been predicting any point this season, whether it's been sporadically, I don't mind, whether it's been consistently. Big up to each and every one of you. I love the support on the channel. Here is the current predictor of the month battle for this month. We've got one more. This is the last game week for the March predictor of the month. So Manj, Moss, Shay, Paxton as well. Mr. 200's on 16 points. Paxton's on 12. Still a lot to play for. Look at how tight that is. Moss, here is your chance to win the first predictor of the month. It feels like every month you come second. Manj has won like 3. Mr. 200 has won 1. Who else has won? Has anyone else won 1? Paxton has 2. Yeah, Paxton's won 1. So yeah, Moss is your first opportunity to win one, my brother. The predictions of the month. I need to get my predictions way too inconsistent. Hey, don't worry, my brother. Don't worry, indeed. I know how life gets, my man, and even me. Yo, that's why my predictions haven't always been on time, and I host the show. So yeah, big up, man. 3 points. You're not too far. 5 points between you and Manj. You could have a big weekend. But if you do want to enter the predictions league, you will need to put your predictions in the comment section at the end of this stream. What platform do you use for the data collection? Hey, do you know what the platform I use? It's myself, my brain. Nah, I'm joking. If you want to on about this one here, I use Numbers because I use it on my MacBook. I usually use Excel, but this one, I use Numbers. It's the Apple one, the Apple platform right there, my brother. Unless you have better suggestions, more money. Unless you have better suggestions, but yeah, I use Numbers. I do prefer Excel though. I'm not being sponsored by any of them, as you can tell, but yeah, I prefer Excel. I write it by hand, but then I just put it into Numbers. Yeah. Throughout the season, my man, the subscribers, the people, let me know. Let me know how this is gonna be done. This can easily be turned into an app. Hey, more money. We have to be speaking. Check me out on socials. Tweet talks on Twitter. Anything. Tweet talks all over the place. If you got any suggestions, my brother, hit me up. Hit me up afterwards, my man. But I'm gonna wrap this up here, my guys. Appreciate you all for joining me for another Premier League preview show. I will be back here tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Check it out for the Man City versus Arsenal preview. I don't know why I'm doing it in a Manchester accent. You know what it is. Massive fixture. And we're going to be looking all eyes on that. How teams are going to line up, how the game's going to play out, key battles, everything. Not a lot. We'll have it all coming in the half an hour show tomorrow. But appreciate you all for joining me for the 90 minutes of this show as we look ahead to all the Premier League fixtures this weekend. And your predictions, don't forget, comment section down below. Don't forget as well to hit that like button. It's back again. I know how to do it. I've got it unlocked now. I do have it unlocked. Eating a Twix when I watch Tariq. Hey, Twix is a great chocolate. It is a great chocolate. Don't be late tomorrow. I ain't making no promises, Shay. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't making no promises, my bro, but I will try my best. I'll try my best not to be late. But take care, all. If those of you who are celebrating Easter to yourselves, I hope you enjoy your Easter weekend. It's an important time for Christians and those who celebrate Easter too, and also a very good fun time for the kids and plenty of chocolate. Hey, there'll be plenty more chocolate to come as well, I'm sure, Yannick. So yeah, big up to everyone here. Love to you all in the chat. If you're not celebrating Easter, still love to yourself. And yes, King, who is a Muslim as well during Ramadan too. So yeah, big up to yourself, King. So and everyone else in here. Love to you all. We're out, my people. And yeah, take care and peace.